Notice how in the mind, we're always seeking for more information. So much of what's happening on YouTube is just this serving of the algorithm by creators. What I want to do is I want to take a step outside of that. And I've even kind of turned away from my computer to be here with you in a greater focus, so that what we can do together is go for the direct experience of truth, the direct experience of who and what we are, to live and to breathe that experience together, to go to the end of why we practice spirituality, why we are interested in this self-actualization, this expression of our highest, truest nature. And I want to thank each one of you joining in. I appreciate each one of you here on Zoom. Just want to shout out to you, Karina and Lars and Chris and Joanne. Grateful to be here with all of you. And in the YouTube, I asked a question. I pinned a quick comment there. What is one belief that you've held your entire life that may not be your own, right? I want to invite you to contemplate this, because in today's work, we can look at some of these and begin to literally dissolve them through our awareness of the truth. There's no limit on who you are. There's no limits on your joy, your peace, your capacity to love, your capacity to be at one with reality. And so in our time here together, let's dedicate this time to remembering the truth that we are already free. Yes, our avatar, our character in the dream is moving through these stages. As it speaks about in A Course in Miracles, this dream has already been dreamt. It already has had the end. And what we're experiencing now is akin to a review of how we awakened, right? How we came to know the truth again. And so I titled this gathering, How You Escaped the Matrix and Reclaimed Your True Power, already and always. So if you'd like to drop in the comments any one belief that you might have around a limitation of what's possible for you, it could be something very practical and 3D. It could be something spiritual in nature or metaphysical. If that comes to you, go ahead and drop it in the comments. Meanwhile, let's take a deep breath and let it go and begin to land right here. Let's take a deep breath once again into the front of our heart, into our chest, and let go. And with this intention, begin to let go of anything that you think is coming next. In the now, in the truth of here where we are actually, there is no next. There's nothing coming after this. Try to drop into this awareness that this container of the now, with all of the shapes and colors and everything that seems to surround you and seems to have depth and direction in all possible orientations, left, right, up, down, behind you, above you, below you. Let's look at this as just a container, this now sphere within which we rest. So yes, the colors, the shapes, the sensations will change. They always change. This is the impermanent nature of the dream. But the now, which is akin to your awareness, the aspect of you that is constantly aware of all the change, that can have a conversation with me about it was this way, then it became this way, now it's like this. That part of you is inseparable from the now moment. There is no timeline. There is just this vertical. There is just this one note that continues to crescendo and never comes to an end. So I want you to take one more deep breath. Let go into this awareness, not looking for a next, which means we're not looking for a salvation in the future. We're not looking for liberation anywhere in the future, anywhere in the next. And likewise, take a moment to just breathe into the back of your heart. And as you're letting go, let go of the past. Don't look for the resolution there. Don't look for completion there. All that you're seeking is just here. It's here and now, and we're going to come to a deeper relationship with the now. We're going to find out that all that we ever desired, hoped for, needed, is already and always right now or never. So just begin to notice how thoughts that are constantly seeking fulfillment are seeking for that fulfillment in an illusion, in something that you cannot ever reach. We can't reach over to the now, to the future. We can't reach over to the past. Yes, all the techniques, the revision, the manifestation, the remembering the future, whatever techniques we might use to manipulate the dream, they all happen now. Whatever we apply to help ourselves tap in to that peace, love, and joy that is always here, all those techniques are also consciously being experienced here and now. And so our place of power then becomes this very instant. And as we become more and more familiar, I'd like you to again keep breathing because your breath is now. Keep noticing your own aliveness, your own sense of presence. No information is going to get you to the now. Nothing in the dream of time is bringing you to the timeless. Because the timeless dimension is not along a story narrative. If you really notice, there's nothing really to say about this, where we are now. If we pay close attention, there is not even enough time for one moment to exist. Each moment continues to unfold. And it's like we might say, okay, well, let's catch this one moment. Okay, well, how about this one? And then this one's kind of gone. Okay, how about, so what we have here is something that appears to be, but in any moment that we want to say, okay, well, let's just freeze frame like this. There's nothing solid here. There's nothing to hold on to here. And whenever we look for comfort, for the point of view of our 3D character, we look for that comfort in a narrative, in a story. And this is a double-edged sword because even as we say, okay, well, okay, I have this beautiful story in which I'm, awakening to my true nature and everything is getting better in our life. And if you're going to have any story, that is the story to have. But that is not what the quintessence of spiritual practice is leading us to. It's not to just imagine that you are in a beautiful story. It is actually to realize that the story is in you, in you. Instead of being a character in a book, you begin to realize that you are the author of the book, that the book is inside of you, right? We typically have this narrative, well, here I am, I've come from this past, I'm going to this future, and we have all of our hopes and doubts and fears. And the essence of perhaps even just the initial spiritual awakening is the realization that none of that is true. That this is literally as much true as if we were to pen a story and begin to write a fiction novel and describe the adventures and the interactions of a fictionary character. In the same way, the narrative that we consider to be so dear to us, the narrative of our life, is also a fiction story that lives within us, within what is the us? It's within consciousness. It's within this container that we may call now or awareness. And I see, Heidi, for example, sharing a perspective, a belief of, well, not enough, right? This is one of this character. This character believes in not enough also. This is one of the core driving programs of Boris is, oh, yeah, how can things be improved? How can it get better? How can it evolve into the next, into the greater? And you may say, oh, that's very exciting and that sounds lovely. But it's driven, like every story is driven by a particular sense of lack, of not enough, right? Not enough, not worthy. So if we really take a look at any movie, any book, please reflect on this in your own experience. Each storyline is a story arc from a sense of not having enough, going through whatever struggle it is to achieve, attain, win over, etc., and then having enough and being acknowledged or recognized internally or externally for that. So this story and the very ethos of whatever's happening in this dream is founded on this illusory foundation that there is lack and we must resolve this lack. We are not in heaven yet. We are not okay yet. We're not worthy yet. Maybe if we meditate more, maybe if we listen to more YouTubes, maybe if we, all of that is what I'm inviting you to become really aware of. This is the programming that is unconsciously editing, influencing, crafting your perception of your life in such a way as that you continue to pick out pieces of perception that confirm that, oh yes, I'm on this journey to finally get to a destination. If you become really aware of this, and we start to notice this pattern everywhere, we realize it's not personal. Even though it feels so personal, it is actually and literally a broadcast of this dream matrix. It's like we're all playing this game, but this game, it has this hypnotic quality to it in which it continues to, once you say yes to it and you're in it, it continues to reaffirm itself to you, but through your own identity, saying to you who you are within this context. But this is why the Christ said, I'm not of this world. I'm in the world, but not of it. Because to be of the world is to be what the matrix tells you you are, right? We look outside and we see what everybody tells us, what kind of approval, acknowledgement, acceptance we get, validation, right? And why? Because just like in the movie, right, the Matrix movie, this world and the entire dynamics of what's going on here. what's really going on? If we really pay attention to what's going on, we begin to see that this is a game of power. This is a game of people trying to amass energy. Essentially, this is it. And in whatever way we can harvest more energy for ourselves, in this way, our dream character gets filled up a little bit, but due to the impermanence and quality of this dream, everything continues to dissolve. So we keep on filling it up, it keeps on dissolving. And so naturally, when you look to the world to discern who you are, you're going to come up with beliefs like, I'm not enough. No matter what I do or how hard I do it or how much I do it, not enough, not enough. Some of you may know, a big part of my love and interest is entrepreneurship, right? The creative expression of our vision for the benefit of others. So I'm not sure if you have heard about this program called Loom. It's like a screen recording a screen recording software. And so this guy who created this sold it to another company for $1 billion, just a regular guy. And so what he shared in his vulnerable post about what happened after he sold it, he said, my life has lost all meaning. I don't even know what I'm doing here. So this person, and how many of us are striving for some particular number, if I have this much in my bank account, well, then I can really focus on my spiritual practice, or then I can really be altruistic, then I can fulfill my vision, then I can have my retreat center, then I can on and on, right? And yet, time and time again, if we pay attention to the examples, anybody who makes it to that point and just kind of is like, okay, well, now what? Same exact story with Robert Kiyosaki. Sold this company, said, oh, you know what? This is perfect. That's all I worked for. I wanted to have unlimited time. Now I have it. And the very first vacation he took after he sold this company, multi-millions, he started to feel depressed. What's happening? We, in this dream, are sold the vision of if you just have enough money, if you have enough, protection, maybe resource, whatever it is, that this enoughness that we're all after, then you'll be okay. Then you'll be free. Then you'll be at peace. But absolutely not. It's a complete illusion. And so sometimes, and again, we can look to the world and to the media and to the many examples. Sometimes when we hear this message, or even worse, when we realize this message viscerally, we thought it was there and we strived and we tried to get, and we put all of our thought, our energy, our life force into it. And then we get there and we're disillusioned. You might say, oh, what a brilliant experience. Freedom. Huh? No, not freedom. Depression. Disillusionment. And a step into the darkness and the emptiness of this dream play. And so instead of awakening, as we might say, oh, well, now I realize that there's something else to look for, we experience despair because we don't realize where else to look. And that's why what I want to share with you and what I want to invite us into is to touch into the direct experience of the only thing that is real, the only thing that is worthwhile. Because that salvation, that liberation, that freedom, we know it's not in the future. Intellectually, at least, we know. I know that as we jump off this call, our programming is going to continue moving us in the direction of seeking, trying to acquire enlightenment, acquire resources, acquire relationships, whatever it may be. This is okay. We are not here to try to stop the illusion, resist the illusion, fight it, do anything to it. Why would you? There's nothing there. The only thing that's necessary is to recognize, step one, We are to recognize illusion as illusion. This is the entire premise of A Course in Miracles, is to be able to discern the real from the unreal, reality from illusion, right? Famous example of an illusion, right? To see train tracks that are going out all over into the horizon, right? It seems like the train tracks, even though here they appear parallel, if you look out into the future, they seem to converge, right? We have this optical illusion of the train tracks converging. But when you understand that it's an illusion, and here you are standing at the front of the train, watching how in the distance the tracks converge, you're not freaking out. You're not sounding the alarms and saying, oh my God, we're going to derail. Instead, you look at it and you are completely at peace. Isn't it so? You look at it and you're completely at peace because you know it's an illusion. You know it cannot harm you. You know that all is well. You know that even though the train tracks appear to be converging, they are not. And likewise, even though this dream appears to convey to you that you are limited, that you are impermanent, that you are weak, that you are whatever it may say to you, not enough, not worthy, etc. You now look at it and you know it for what it is. If we just get to this level of stable recognition, knowing illusion as illusion, we have done so much more than the great philosophers of the years of exploring thought and building these castles of thought. Because no amount of thinking, no matter how beautiful of an understanding and how eloquently you can articulate it, it will not free you. The only thing that will free you is the direct recognition. The same exact recognition that frees you from freaking out that the train tracks are converging in the distance, that same level of recognition is going to free you from freaking out, from resisting, from fighting, from feeling as a victim to the world by recognizing, wow, this perception. Yes, everybody seems to be plugged into this perception, at least very many. This perception is false. And that's what these first 50 lessons of A Course in Miracles are focusing on. Deconstructing perception in a way where literally you begin to see under the hood, so to speak, of this wonderful illusory mechanism. You start to recognize that there's an overlay, and that overlay is an overlay that we call the perception of separation. It says to you that you are separate from the infinite source of all good. What are you going to do then? All you can do then is try to accumulate as much as you can to survive, to have some kind of power, to have protection, to have your defenses, because you understand that you're totally alone. You understand when you are under the illusion of this dream matrix, you understand that you are alone. Your only hope is to, take it all in your hands. And so much so that even as we move through life and we continue to try to find our happiness in these achievements, in these gathering of resources, we time and time again discover, oh, I don't know my own best interests. I don't perceive them. I thought that if I were to get into this relationship, I would be happy. I thought that if I were to sell my company for $1 billion, I would be happy. What did I know? Right? And even though we keep on experiencing our failure over and over again, inside of the programming, it says, oh, but maybe this one will be different. Maybe this time I finally got the recipe. And if you can begin to recognize that voice, begin to, instead of treating it as God, recognize it as the illusion that it is. How different would your life be? What if we recognize that there is nothing and nowhere to seek? There's literally nothing that we can get from this dream. Even this one moment that seems to be this present moment, it doesn't even have enough time to exist. It just keeps on changing. It goes on to the next, to the next, to the next. What could we possibly be trying to get from this dream if we awaken to this realization? There's nothing that this dream can add to us, but also in that realization, which may seem at first, again, depressing, but we realize that this dream also can't take anything away. It is literally like a painting. So when we go to express ourselves and we want to create and we want to dance and we want to make art, there's nothing to get, right? You're dancing or you're painting or you're singing, and the activity itself is the point of it, right? You're not doing it so that, right? When you're truly, or like when you see a baby, as I brought up a few times, just watching my 1-year-old son unfold in his exploration of this world, he's not doing it to get something. He's dancing, he's playing, he's doing this stuff, he's exploring the world. And we can be like that. And in the scripture, it points out exactly that. It says that be ye as little children, right? Only those with that level of innocence and that level of non-attachment get to experience heaven. Where? Here. Here and already and always. Because when you're not trying to get anything, then nothing can be taken away from you. So in a moment, let's dive into more of a kind of a meditational exploration so that we're not swimming around in concepts. Like, we get that, okay, but where's the real experience of it? We can go there also. I just want to check out here at Kerjner. Belief I had for a long time, but is slowly getting better with. I have to work hard to be successful, and if I don't work, I'm lazy. This is a belief we had in South Africa where I grew up. Yeah, absolutely, right? Absolutely. It's the same exact thing that we've been kind of exploring here. The idea that, what is this successfulness? The successfulness is the idea of getting something from the dream. It's the idea of surrendering our true self, adopting this limited self that is constantly leaking energy and needs energy to survive, and then acting as this dream character to try to amass energy. How do we do it? We do it by being successful. We do it by earning the respect of those around us. We do it by getting validation, external validation, right? There's a bigger topic around this, right? Like, remember in the Matrix, the entire world there is harnessing human beings for what? For energy. Harnessing human beings for energy, right? And if you have at all explored any of the kind of the Gnostic spirituality, or even some of the New Age experiences that you're maybe hearing about, this idea of loosh, right? And the idea of kind of like maybe in the cartoon movie, I don't know if you've seen it, Monsters, Inc., where these monsters go into children's rooms and scare them and collect their fear and bottle it up and use it as energy to run their monster world. You seen that? If not, check it out. It's funny and cute, and at the same time, its message could be very accurate about what this world is. This world is a competition for energy. This energy we can call power. And whoever has the amassed power, the amassed respect, has this quality that basically creates fear in others, and a sort of a fear that makes them want to follow the will of that one that has amassed a certain amount of energy. So do we want to see that world? and play in that world. Yeah. Do we need to? Yeah, I see you, Jay. You're reminding me, Boris, the need to relax. All is well in all of creation. Absolutely true. But not relax like the idea of the, I don't want to offend anybody, but like the hippie version of relaxation, where it's like, okay, well, everything is cool and great, and we're cruising along in an idea that everything is okay, but we have not actually embodied or experienced or known the truth that makes us free. And the truth that makes us free is that this world truly is an illusion, but only the direct experience of that liberates. Try for yourself. Go up to somebody who is depressed, anxious, fearful, they're freaking out. What's happening in the politics? What's happening in the world? Oh my God, the economy. And tell them, oh, don't worry. This world is just an illusion. What's going to happen? Will you have helped anybody? And what's going to happen to that one? Do you think that they're going to experience more peace, love, and joy? And you know the answer is absolutely not. In fact, you're going to create more conflict, more of a sense of rejection, more of a sense of attack towards you from that one. Because why? Because hurt people, right? That cycle that it's talking about in the Course in Miracles of projecting our fears onto the world, seeing them coming back at us, defending against them. And then as we are in their defense, we project more fear. And people are stuck in this cycle. And this cycle is a cycle of suffering. They are hurting. Humanity is hurting. And so mercy to all human beings. It's telling them the world is an illusion is not going to help. And this is why, again, in the Course, I love the Course so much because, you know, in one point of view, it's so dense and I'm like, oh my God, like nobody, like most people are not going to take the time to go through this and to actually get the essence and the gift of what it's offering. But the Course is so beautiful because it talks about this dynamic. It talks about exactly this space in which we pursue the the kind of the establishment of our character here as reality, so that we can feel like yes, I can amass this energy, I can do this, and yet all we're doing is we're digging ourselves into more and more and more of this illusory game. And no matter how hard we play, there's no win, there's no end. So, Joanne, yeah, we need do nothing, but we actually need do nothing. Does that make sense? We need do nothing. In the scriptures, it also says, be ye doers of the word and not hearers only. What's it talking about? It's talking about at the level of consciousness, we can take action. Action in consciousness, not action with this body, not action in the dream, not action as a separate self out there. There is no separate doership. That is the fundamental reality. This is what the entire Bhagavad Gita is talking about, like bringing about this clear message that soul doership is an illusion. Just like a leaf on a tree does not move under its own power, so too, nothing in this creation moves under its own power. There's one power, one presence, one source. Yeah. So to actually do nothing is a rare thing in this world. And that's what I want to invite you and I to do here together. Awareness. Yeah, Joanne, awareness, being the observer of what is. Yeah, be. I can see Jay saying also be. Yeah, it's exactly there. But it's like be knowingly. Let's start to explore this right now. Notice that here in this moment, there are sounds. My words, there may be other sounds in the environment, and behind, beneath, in between all sounds is silence. The silence is uninterrupted. Consider, as you become more and more in touch with the silence, which is the greater? That which arises and passes away, the sounds, or that which never arises, never passes away, is constant, unchanging, unending, unalterable. And become more and more interested in the greater. One is fleeting. One barely noticeable, constantly here. So many times we want to get something from the fleeting, but look and see, what can you get? Behind all movement, behind all sensation is stillness. Joanne is saying, damn, our world out there is so bloody noisy. Silence is uninterrupted by any noise. If you allow yourself, if it helps you, close your eyes and listen. Catch it first between sounds. And then notice that if you leave your attention there, it doesn't matter what kind of sounds happen, the silence is still there. The sounds are attractive because they are changing. And our nervous system is such that it has been evolved, whatever we want to say in regards to this dream world. But our nervous system of the body mind is such that it is prioritizing attention to sounds, attention to the changing. It's okay. It doesn't stop us. It doesn't limit our ability to know the truth. Get more in touch with the silence. Invite it in. The silence is not just dead space. It's very much alive. It's much closer to the truth of who we are than any sound. This frequency that silence carries is itself the deprogramming medicine. When you allow it to touch you and to touch your nervous system, to touch your awareness, it is literally the internet, so to speak, of remembrance. Plugging into silence by literally simply taking your attention, placing it on the silence. This is how you plug in, mechanically speaking. You are plugging into the stream. It's like taking a shower. You're plugging into the stream that is washing you clean, dissolving programming, dissolving the beliefs. Without referring to any sound, internal or external, meaning words or thoughts. Are you enough or are you not enough? Or are you neither? Are you successful without referring to memory or imagination? Are you successful, unsuccessful, or neither? Refer to that which is real. Refer to that which is the same today, tomorrow, yesterday. And when you ask these questions, do they even make sense? Do they even apply to anything that is unchanging? You placing your attention on the changeless aspect of this experience. I want to give you a little bit of motivation. For those of you who are interested in, naturally, myself included, interested in achieving something, you have goals in life, you have desires, no problem. There's nothing wrong with that. All desires are meant to be fulfilled. Not necessarily fulfilled in the way that you think, but fulfilled as in is extinguished. Yeah, all of them are here for that. That's why they come. So to think about a desire is to continuously place yourself in separation to it. To not think about that desire removes this idea of separation from your awareness. So if you actually wanted to achieve something, to fulfill something, even this idea of enlightenment, salvation, knowing the oneness of creation, knowing God, the best way that we could do that is to just think about it once, like planting a seed, like I and my Father are one. I and the source of all creation, one, eternal, changeless, limitless in power and in peace. Whatever way it is for you, you think it, you feel it, you embrace it. Maybe you call that prayer. Yeah. Go into the closet and pray to your Father in secret, and as He hears you in secret, He'll reward you openly. So you do that. You say, yes, I embrace the truth of who I am. And then don't put any more thoughts into the mind about that. You simply embrace the desire, embrace it as fulfilled, and then cruise in as much as possible without thinking, because every thought creates an aspect of the world. So if you thought I and my Father are one, all that the Father has is mine, and then you're like, oh, I'm running out of honey. Oh, I don't want to go to the store. Oh, as you keep thinking about this, do you need to think about it? Or can you just see, oh, the honey, almost out, and leave it? And if you would like more honey, see that honey jar filled back up and say, I do have honey, as a seed. Because, and I'm not talking about some wild, fantastical thing where you open the cupboard next time and your honey's full. Although things like that happen, absolutely. But I'm just saying, acknowledge the desire, allow it to say yes, let that desire be fulfilled, and then come back to the stillness, come back to the truth, come back to the silence, and cruise without friction, without resistance, without delay in the now moment. And these things that you want to be added onto you, they will be added onto you. You will find the right synchronistic opportunity that is in flow the less you think. The more you think, the more you're going to create these various distortions depending on where you're thinking from. If you're constantly thinking from a place of peace, love, and joy, yes, you're going to project that happy dream out there. I saw a question here. Jay, what's the difference between who we truly are and the happy dream? This is a great question. The happy dream is this experience where we project thought that does not in any way contradict peace, love, joy, oneness. When you have projections that are in no way contradictory to the true nature of reality and the self, this is what we call the happy dream. When instead you have things that contradict who you are, your emotional guidance system is going to kick in and create suffering for you. Remember, and I know that the Course does not address it this way, but if you explore the experience of it, you're going to find that there is some merit to this. When you hold a thought and you notice that your energy is contracting and you're experiencing suffering, that is a signal. That's your check engine light saying, that's not true. That's not who you are. And that's why in the Course it says your capacity for suffering is great, but it is not limitless. And that's the fail-safe mechanism within the dream. That's our lifeline. You will experience suffering to a great degree, but eventually it will wake us up. And that's why there's this famous saying that heaven and hell are a quarter of an inch apart, because you can be in the deepest hell and through that suffering be catapulted entirely into the opposite direction. So, in this way, the entire dream is already won. There is no way for you to fall into eternity of separation, because separation does not have eternity. It lacks this quality. It is impermanent. And so there's nowhere that you can go that you will not eventually know the truth of who you are. So what's the difference between who we truly are and the happy dream? Who we truly are is in the direction of silence, stillness, space, like the awareness of awareness, the non-conceptual, whereas the happy dream remains within the concepts of peace, love, joy, forgiveness, connection. All of those things are like beautiful images. They're still image making, but they are images that in the Course they reflect the light of heaven, the light of truth, meaning that they in no way contradict it. So you have this experience that all is well, yeah. But underneath that, there is still the truer aspect of the self that has nothing to do with concepts, that has nothing to do with temporal forms, right? That's why again in the Course it says that in the end we come to the formless state. All these forms will fall away. And that is actually already and always right here. And so once again, notice the sensation in your right hand. If you have a right hand, most of us probably do. If not, try your left hand. or any aspect of your body. Notice the sensations. And notice that the sensations are apparent only against the background of stillness. Otherwise, how could you tell about the sensations? If it helps, again, close your eyes. Notice your hand. Notice there is the movement of sensation. And if you want something really noticeable, of course, just move your hand. And notice that you're experiencing the movement against the background of stillness. That background of stillness is the same as awareness. You are aware of this moment, are you not? Let your attention go to the source of awareness itself. Become aware of where awareness is emerging from. Let's put it this way with words. From where are you aware? And notice the quality of that. It's the same quality as silence and stillness. And take a few moments now to bathe in it. Let's just close our eyes for a few moments and literally allow this to deprogram us to whatever extent is available in this moment. Say, hey, I am willing to let go of all limiting beliefs. I am willing to welcome the truth of who I am into my full awareness. And become aware. Rather, notice that you are already aware of the fact that you're aware, not of the fact of the experience of awareness. Notice the qualities of stillness, as if you are like an old school radio, tuning the dial to dial into that frequency where there is nothing. Nothing that the nervous system can recognize. That's what you're going for. Nervous system sees it as nothing. And I want you to take dips into this stillness with utter abandon of everything else for even split seconds at a time. Rest into zero. Sometimes it's helpful on the exhale to let go into nothing and feel the seconds that are available to you or split seconds of the mind at zero. And know that each time you touch it this way, each time you invite it this way, you are literally dissolving the hook that this dream matrix has in you that is telling you who you are, what you can do, what you can't do, and entirely enforcing a particular worldview through the stream of thoughts. Now, Let it go. Drink in the silence. Now I want to invite you to practice in this way. Whenever you have a split second, which we always have, and I know it's very difficult to stop the stream of activity, there is an addiction to it. It's okay. Mercy and compassion for our human being. Nonetheless, interrupting the stream of thought with reverence for the stream of silence and stillness that is carrying the memory of who and what we truly are, constantly, gracefully, at all times, broadcasting it throughout creation. It is here. It's now. It's available. It is the living waters. And it's all around us, and we're dying of thirst. I know from one point of view, this is completely a cosmic joke. From another point of view, it's deeply tragic. From another point of view, it's not even happening. But whatever view you are in, honor where you are and know that if you allow yourself to drop the story and the narrative for short moments at a time, you will begin to defragment your true connection to your true and original self. So this is my invitation to you to really remember that you are standing at the end of the dream, watching the story of how you awakened, the story of how you remembered who you truly are. You are watching this movie. Yes, it's 3D. Yes, you are seemingly participating in it. Trust that you are at the end, watching it unfold. And the memory and the realization of what that really means comes more and more and more clear as you take breaks from listening to the matrix broadcast that is coming into your mind in the form of thoughts and the language that you speak or the language that you learned, whatever language you're speaking on. That's not your true language. That's not who you are. That is not your true voice. That is purely a broadcast. So don't take it so seriously. As we talked about last time, the core of spiritual awakening is to no longer believe that broadcast and no longer identify with it as my thoughts. Mm. I hope that's been helpful. I hope we're touching into something that's more real than concepts and ideas. And we'll continue to deepen together like this. And thank each one of you for joining me here today. We have a little bit of time if anybody wants to ask any other questions or jump on for a quick dialogue. I'd love to connect with you. Want to explore anything that we've been talking about here today. Absolutely welcome you. As well as, of course, feel free to drop your questions in chat. But try not to leave this place of awareness of what we touched into. Try to favor it for even short moments at a time, to welcome in that stream that is not based on the past at all. I appreciate you. Trust your heart. Somebody named Trust Your Heart. It's been incredibly illuminating. I'm so glad to hear that. I love that you enjoyed that. Appreciate you being here. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for your hearts. Thank you, Karina, Lars, Joanne. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Heidi. Thank you, Delmar. Appreciate all of you for joining me here today. And until next time, really invite something different into your life. Pay attention to what's different as you give yourselves these even seconds of listening to silence, embodying, welcoming stillness as a frequency, as a literal broadcast. Like you might enjoy being out in the sun and in feeling the warmth of the sun on your skin. In the same way, I want you to please explore bathing in stillness, even if you have short moments to do it, and then watch your life and watch the differences. You will be inspired by the synchronicities of you taking time to step outside of the mind stream, to experience the stillness and the silence, which are direct links to your true self, and then watch, because your reality will mirror back to you a difference. If you've been thinking certain thoughts and you've been living your life and you're seeing a particular routine and you see that, and then suddenly there will be something, it will catch your attention. Pay attention to that. It will inspire you to connect more with the silence and then see more synchronicity and see more reflection of something different coming into your life. Different doesn't always mean it's happy. Difference can also mean that you lose something, that something changes, that something, like you've been having the same argument with somebody, but suddenly the argument is about something else. See that, recognize that, celebrate that, because you are unwinding the programming, and you're going to see evidence of that in your life. Awesome. What do we do? Trust your heart. What do we do? My mind jumps into, then what do we do once awakened? The movie is going to play out in whatever way it does play out. The thing is that we've only ever imagined that we are doing something. We've never done anything. This, again, this idea of soul doership is the illusion. It is the belief in two powers, God and ego. Well, here I am doing something as a separate self. This is like a leaf that is falling from the tree, and the wind is carrying it. And as it's falling, it's like, oh, I'm going to go left. I'm going to go right. I'm going down. It has no choice. It's only rehearsing a mental narrative. It's telling itself a story about what's happening. It has no power except the power of hallucination and illusion as a separate leaf. But as the tree and as the whole of creation, as the self that you are, dreaming this dream in every possible detail of it, that's happening. But that's happening from oneness. That's not happening as an individual doer. So what do? We won't have that question. We will be done. We will be lived by life as we already are, always and already. So that's what we're discovering. Really, what we are discovering is that we are not doing anything. We are discovering that we have something much greater than the small egoic dream character self that we've identified with, that is actually living us, that is actually guiding us, that is actually supporting and orchestrating everything that is unfolding in our life. Yeah, Karina, make sure you can unmute. Can you unmute?
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
Hi, Boris. Yeah, just with the stillness, I love to get up early in the morning while it's still dark, and then I just put the candle on and just sit there and you know, just have that stillness with the Holy Spirit and just read something from the course or think about something. But I think that makes such a difference to my day to have that early morning stillness, and with the candle, it's just that just make a different vibe for the day.
Yes. Yeah. I love what you're saying because in YouTube, there's a question right now that says, then what's different? What is different? Right? Like once we are established more in this wakeful state where we have more recognition of the illusion and we don't take it so seriously, what's different? What's different for you?
Yeah, I think just you know, just that early morning is a different experience. So even if I have the stillness during the day, it doesn't have the same um experience as the early morning. And it just like, I don't know, it just feels like I have a more awareness, or I I get a better download, I get more information, and I get more like a message. And even if there's things that I was thinking about, if I just sit there, then I'll just get all this answers to my questions, or the things I was thinking about.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So you, by putting in the early morning in the context of your consciousness, you're prioritizing it. You're essentially saying like, I value this, and then anything else. So placing your value on what's truly valuable. Again, this is deeper in the course where it says, help me to value what is truly valuable. Well, what's truly valuable? We think money is valuable, or this thing, or that thing, and they have relative value in the dream. But what's truly valuable is that which awakens us to the truth of who we are. And that question of then, like, so what's different when we allow the silence to dissolve our patterns? The difference is that we no longer take the illusion of the world and whatever is unfolding to be reality. The moment that we do, anytime we think that anything in the dream is real, real is a quality that belongs only in one place. Real is an attribute of God, nothing else. Or we can call it love, we can call it whatever we want to call it. But when we give this reality to, oh, this person, maybe they don't like me, or maybe something bad's going to happen, and we then say, we call that thought, that thing, real. The moment we do that, we suffer because we leave reality when we do that. And our emotional guidance system starts to kick in and starts to try to bring us back, try to bring us back into alignment. And I remember you sharing earlier, I believe, Karina, like about your son, right? And about like feeling worry. And as you started to work with yourself, realizing, oh, wow, like I don't need to have that. I don't need to put my thoughts into that. And then there was more of a resolution and more of a flow, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. And I also, that stillness and that early morning, it just brings me into peace. I just have such peace.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like charging our battery. You know, in the world of personal development and entrepreneurship, they talk about something called decision fatigue, that we can only make so many decisions in the day, and then the more that we make, the more we drain our mental energy, the more we kind of lose our mana for the day, so to speak. Well, when we rest in silence, it is the exact opposite. It is the charging up. It's like we're refueling. And so if you establish yourself in that space, especially in the morning, you are really coming at life and in the experience of participating in the dream from a very different level of energy, right?
Yeah. And I also think it has a big influence on my thoughts during the day because, I don't know, I just think more loving thoughts, and I wouldn't get stressed about anything. It just yeah, I mean, it's such a change to my day.
Yeah. I love that you're sharing this, and and others get to hear it. And we really, sometimes it's hard to really catch the value of some of these very simple things because we think, okay, so yeah, okay, a moment of silence, that's okay. But, but how do I get my goals and my dreams? But really, it is, even if our intention is to succeed in this dream world or to have influence here or to do anything, then still resting in silence and allowing that to work on us, it's something that empowers us to have influence over the dream instead of feeling influenced by the dream, right? When some piece of news comes in and tells you, oh, you are lacking and you are not enough and you're wrong, and then you can kind of see that at a higher level of energy, you see that and it's like, oh, at a lower energy level, you see and hear this and you are dominated, and you will sometimes spill a lot of energy because you start to stress, you start to believe, you start to resist, attack, move from fear to try to change that. And now you are playing a losing game already. So like the way that you're describing it, uh, drinking in the silence, the stillness, it prepares us to engage the day entirely differently than we would otherwise.
Yeah, and I think having just the candle and not lights on, it's just it just makes you so open for to get all this information, and so it's really making a big difference to my life to have that morning. And I would wake up anytime from 4 o'clock, and I'll be out of the bed immediately. I mean, even though I'm like retired, but I just want to have that, I'm so worried that or not worried, but I would like, oh, I don't want to miss this time in the morning. So when I wake up, I just get up. Doesn't matter what time it is.
Hmm. Beautiful. I appreciate you sharing that, Karina, very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
the session. Lovely.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate having you here. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Just gonna check comments one more time. Um, Yeah, I see Trust Your Heart saying, you also have given me a great reason to tune into silence, explaining it as a defragger. Now, if you don't know defragmentation, it's a computer term that as computer memory, you install things, you delete things, you add, you save. It basically creates fragmentation. And when you run this program of defragmentation, it rearranges all of the blocks of memory in such a way that it's coherent, right? So then I can place my attention on it. Yeah, it's important that we find the view and the perspective that shows us and allows us to see the value in what the nervous system sees as nothing and what the world sees as nothing. There's nothing there. But there is actually. The world sees it as nothing, but it is actually the all. Um, Before it felt empty to my addicted to action and ideas mind. Absolutely. And I think that that's also something that really inspired me is when I started to see that the silence and the stillness are not empty, that they are literally frequencies. They are literally like live stream of um, data, so to speak, but data that has nothing to do with the dream of the past, which is what this world is embodying and believing. And now it feels full and gives my it gives my concept mind a reason to turn off and go there to the silence, as we have been instructed by all wisdom teachings. I love thinking of it as the dissolver. Yeah, beautiful. That is a beautiful, beautiful encapsulation of this practice. Well, I want to thank each one of you. Appreciate each one of you. And I will see you again in a couple of weeks in February. Please welcome back. And meanwhile, if you want to, I'd love to hear from you in a couple of weeks. Work with this practice. And by the way, if you are not yet part of the Holy Instant, by the way, right there on the screen, I dropped the link into the chat earlier. I'll drop it again. If you want to join us there, I am really, really loving, and I think something very special is happening. when it comes to those first 50 lessons, I'm very, very much focusing on the transformative power of deconstructing perception. And the way that we are working with those first 50 lessons is in a very contemplative way, literally practically deconstructing and seeing what perception is made of. If you're interested in that, click the link and go and check it out. There's a free trial that you can just take a peek inside, see if that's something you love. It's something that I'm loving a lot and truly enjoying creating that. So hopefully that's of service to you as well. And until next time, I deeply appreciate each one of you. The time and the energy that you're investing in each moment of silence is a gift, not only for you, but for everybody, right? Remember, all minds are joined. Every time you allow that frequency to resonate through the one mind, we are doing probably the greatest possible work that we could do. Thank you. Thank you. Take great care. Until next time.